big church believer. I honestly don't believe in church. I think church is a waste of time. I think church is a bunch of crap. As a black person, black people, we grew up in the church. We love church. We've been indoctrinated with church and Jesus and going, and the only way you're gonna get your blessings and things like that is by being a part of the church. Me personally, I just think church is a waste of time. I mean, I believe you can be blessed and you can get everything you want from the Creator without going to a building. You know what I'm saying? People think that you have to go on Sundays and you have to pay your tithes and you have to do this shit. But I don't think you have to do that. In my experience, I'm a lot older than you. In my experience, I believe that you just pray to your Creator, your God. People have different gods or whatever, but if you pray and you believe with all your heart, that you can still get your blessings and things like that. You don't have to go to a church and be a fucking member of a church. You know what I'm saying? That's why I never forced you to go to church. I left that up to you. You went a couple times when you were younger, but I never said, hey man, you gotta go to church because, you going to hell and this, that, and the other. That's that own person's personal, decision on whether to go or not to go. But just because you don't go to church doesn't mean you're going to hell. And just because you do go to church don't mean you go to hell.
Why do you think this whole church shit started now?
I believe church was started way back in the day, by the Catholic religion to brainwash, indoctrinate, and keep people under control. You know what I'm saying? I gave you an example before. If you have one child in your house, you're a mother and a father. You have one child in your house. All right. Remember, church is just like a house, the house of the Lord, right? That's what they call it. So if you have one child in your house, is it easy to contain or watch or teach that child? One child, pretty easy, right? If you have 5 children in your house, is it much harder to control and watch those 5 children as opposed to 1?
Yeah.
Because you're only 2 people, right? You got a mother and a father,
right,
and you got children running all over the fucking place, and you can't keep eyes on everyone. That's why church was invented, to keep everyone under control without them being there. That's what church is for, in my opinion. Because
church was invented to keep everyone in control without being there, but you have to be in church to be controlled.
You don't have to be in church to be controlled. You go to church every week as far as like they continue to program you, like to keep tweaking you, to make sure that you're on their same, wavelength and their same plan. Like you have like a tune-up. It's like a tune-up. You have to go to church every Sunday for a tune-up because the church wants you under control and to believe all the shit they want you to believe. They have no proof, right? They have no proof of any fucking thing, but they tell you that, you're gonna go to hell. God don't love you. If you don't do this, that, and the other, and all this kind of shit or whatever, you have to be in the house of the Lord to do whatever. You don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But they tell you that you do. But like I said, it's easier to watch one child and control them. But it's hard to control 5 or 6 children because you can't be everywhere at one time. But if you instill that fear, or you instill your plan or your rules or whatever, then you don't have to be there to watch them, right? Most people call themselves a Christian. Right? Most people in the world call themselves a Christian. Now, you might follow Allah or Buddha or Krishna or whoever the hell you follow, Jesus, whatever. You call yourself a Christian. What is a Christian?
Follower of Christ.
A follower of Christ, right? A follower of Christ. Yet this world is fucked up.
Right.
But 80% of the people on the planet call themselves some type of Christian, and they go to church. If you go to Catholic church or Baptist or Methodist or Protestant, whatever the hell you call yourself, a Mormon, you always go to some house, some building in order to, get your your weekly message of how to do things and how to treat people and all that kind of stuff. But yet the world is as fucked up as it is. So therefore, if all these people, if 80% of the people are going to church and call themselves Christians and they're supposed to be good people, why is the world so fucked up? You know what I'm saying? So is it the world that's fucked up? Or is it church that's fucked up? Is it the people that fucked up? You know what I'm saying? Who's to blame? Because if you're telling me everyone is thinking the same thing, we got to do good. We got to love people and, and help people and do all these kinds of things. Because no matter what your religion is, everybody thinks the same thing. Be good to people, love your neighbor, all this kind of shit. I don't care what religion you have. They always say that. So why is the world in the condition that it's in. If all these motherfuckers call themselves Christians, are you a follower of Christ?
Not really.
Okay, so then you wouldn't consider yourself a Christian.
Guess not.
Okay.
I've never been super deep into religion anyway, because I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I never really cared.
Right.
Even when we did go to church, I never really cared.
You didn't give a shit.
Like, I've just been instilled like of doing right to people.
Values.
Like, yeah,
right.
I just want to be kind.
Right.
I don't really care. Like, I know that sounds like I'm a dick, but I know that sounds like I'm a dick, but I don't really care for like Jesus. I don't really care for like church and people like singing fucking songs.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
That shit don't appeal to me. Like, I'd rather just be nice to someone, and however they treat me, that's them. But I'd rather just be nice to somebody.
So you look at it as just a show. Church is like a show, because what you're saying is I don't need Jesus or the preacher up here sweating and kicking over shit, and I don't need all the songs and stuff like that. I just want to do right, do good, treat people good. All of that is unnecessary.
That's what I would say.
Right? It's unnecessary. So that was basically you saying church is just unnecessary. Like you can do good and you don't have to go to church. I gave you an example. Like
that's what I'm saying.
When you go to church.
No, let me interrupt you.
Okay. All right.
What you just said, you said you can do good and not go to church.
Correct.
A baby will know. Like, you'll see videos of babies, like if their sister's in the room crying, they just broke up with their boyfriend. A baby will really walk in their sister's room and like console them.
Right.
A fucking 2-3-year-old baby will walk in there and console their sister that's crying. Like, people don't
understand why. They just
people know to do good by not going to church.
Right.
That's what we just know. Like, if you choose to do bad, that's your choice. I don't really give a fuck, but you know to do good. So I never really cared to go to church and somebody tell me when I'm supposed to do good when I already know what's to do good. Like, when you're doing something bad, you know you're doing something bad. Like, something in you is telling you you're doing something fucking bad, unless you're a psychopath like Michael Myers or something.
Right. So you know to do good, and why do you know to do good? Because you've been basically downloaded with the information from birth, right? From the Creator. Like, you just know that. Like, you just know that if you're 4 or 5 years old, okay, and you get a hammer and you go and just start busting a cat upside the head with that hammer, something inside you tells you that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a living creature or thing or whatever. Like, something will tell you you're just not supposed to do that. Church didn't tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know that. I feel that. You can call that feelings or conscious or whatever you want to call it, but you just know what's right and what's wrong. You just know what to do, right? You're saying that the building itself doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
Because
you can have a church in somebody's house. You can have a church.
My grandmother did that.
You can have a church in a backyard.
Anyway.
They just built this. I mean, that's my opinion. They just built this big ass fucking building and put Jesus on a cross all over it. Mm-hmm. So to make it seem like it's so like
holy and all that.
Yeah, like holy, yeah, like legitimate.
Right.
But if I get like a group of 10 people and we come into my room and have a church, that's the same fucking thing as having a church in a big building, in my opinion.
So to me, the bigger the church, the more bullshit it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have 5,000 people.
But there is some churches that teach good things. Like, there are some churches that actually spread positivity and actually try to do shit in a community.
I think that most churches,
small churches,
the words are positive, you know, but the actions are not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what do you
no church. You can go to any church. Ain't no church gonna tell you to dislike a motherfucker or rob a motherfucker or do these kinds of things. Most churches, every church is gonna teach you to do the right thing. Then? Okay, so let's take for instance, let's say like Creflo Dollar. All right, he's a big. I don't know if you ever heard of Creflo Dollar. Anyway, he's got a big mega church over here in Atlanta off of Old National Highway. All right, so over by the airport and shit. Thousands of members, huge congregation or whatever. This is the same motherfucker that said that my congregation is gonna bless me with a $68 million jet because you know God said that I need this jet and my congregation is gonna bless me with a $68 million jet. But anyway, fuck that. But so Creflo Dollar has this huge mega church on Old National. Old National is one of the worst roads in Atlanta. Like it is infested with violence and drugs and all kinds of shit on Old National Highway. Motherfuckers are getting shot left and right on Old National Highway. But yet, this mega church with thousands of members is right there on Old National Highway. My point being about the actions. You go to a church, they're going to spread the word. They're going to give you positive shit to go do. But you're Creflo Dollar with thousands of so-called Christians, followers of Christ, and your church is right in the middle of a road, and on either side of your road is nothing but violence and drugs and bullshit and all kinds of stuff like that. Why is that? Why do you not take those thousands of fucking members and go out into the community and try to get this shit better? If no other road should be a beautiful, loving, caring, clean, wonderful road, shouldn't it be the road that this goddamn mega church is on? Like, once you get out on Sundays and then you go out and you're supposed to spread the word to others, right? You're supposed to do positive things in your community. When you're a mega church like that, and you have thousands of members, and the road that you're on is full of crime and bullshit, that means that your actions don't make up
are not matching what the Bible
exactly is. You telling me on Sunday, this is what we need to do. We need to love our neighbors, and we need to do all these kinds of things, and we need to blah, blah, blah. Okay, that shit is good. It sounds great, but your actions don't dictate what your words are saying, because your words are positive, but look around you. Look around you. That church has been there for years. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about years upon years. If no other area or neighborhood should be a beautiful utopia, it should definitely be right around a mega church. Actions are what dictate, what you're about in your community. Because the church is supposed to be about, man, you can go to certain places, and especially in the South, and you'll have a church on every corner. I can literally take you over here to a road, in the intersection, there's a church here, here, and here. There's 4 corners, there's 3 churches on this fucking road. 3, okay? And it's not the best of neighborhoods. That just seems impossible to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have all these Christians,
is it the money that's getting put into the church and not the neighborhoods that you're more upset about, or is it just the people that's not helping the people?
Community? I don't give a shit about the money. You know what I'm saying? If you want to give your money to a preacher because you're a fucking fool, you know what I'm saying? And the preacher's telling you that, don't cheat God out of his tithes.
Right? I understand that there's some people out there who need my services.
Yes, Lord.
Are there any people out there who are weak?
Yes.
Any people out there who are weary?
Yes.
Any people out there who are tired?
Yes.
Any people out there who just need a heal?
Yes.
Y'all got cash.
Right? That's what they say,
That's
right?
disgusting.
Don't cheat God out of his money. Bruh, let me tell you something.
That's disgusting.
God don't need no money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's face it. God don't need no money. So the creator of the universe, of all the planets, stars and solar systems and all this kind of shit, right? And galaxies, all this. The creator of all that need $20. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about what the fuck you're saying.
It's not even that. It's just,
don't cheat God out of his money. Nigga, what?
If I give you $17, how the hell are you even gonna give it to God? Like, how are you gonna, like, do you have like a jet to heaven or some shit where you can drop off my paycheck to God or some shit?
Bro.
Like, that don't even make no sense.
UPS go a lot of places. Okay? They go a lot of places. These motherfuckers go to Thailand, you know what I'm saying? They go to Turkey, Russia. But I can tell you one place they are not going. They ain't going to heaven. I goddamn guarantee you they're not going to heaven. Because if they can get there and drop off bags of money, they need to be bringing information back on how to make this world better. You feel what I'm saying? UPS can cover this globe, this so-called globe. It ain't a globe, but whatever. I ain't getting that again. But they can cover this planet, right? But they can't get to heaven. So when a preacher tells you don't cheat God out of his tithes, let me tell you that's
if you giving money to a church, bro, you gotta be a dumb fuck. Like, you stupid.
So you have thousands of members, and they're all giving you, I don't know, say an average of $100 per person. So you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars per weekend or whatever you're doing, right? From all these fucking people. What are you doing with that money?
Actually.
What are you doing with that money? I mean, I don't know how much your light bill is, but it ain't no $300,000. You know what I'm saying? Your light bill ain't that much. What are you doing with that money to give back to the community, to help these fucking people? What are you doing? So, to me, church is just a waste of fucking time. It's not important. The Bible that they tell you to read, if you're a quote unquote Christian, you can read that at home, right? You don't need to go to this building and have them read whatever. You can read this bitch by yourself. You know, if you want to pray, you can pray alone, right? Or you can pray with a family member or whatever. You don't have to go to church and pray.
Yeah,
God can hear you everywhere.
I've never been. I don't understand the job of a preacher, and I'm not trying to disrespect no preacher. Like, do what you want, that's fine. I don't understand
They
the
supposed to
job
be-
of it though. Like you're telling me you're the person that's supposed to spread the word to people.
They're a messenger.
But they're
They're a
reading
messenger.
shit out of the Bible, correct?
Mhm.
They're reading stuff out of the Bible to spread to other people.
Correct.
So why don't those people just read the Bible instead of having a preacher tell them? You know what I mean?
No,
Am I
yeah.
stupid? Like,
no, you're saying the preacher is a middleman.
if you're telling me something out of this thing,
Mhm.
I obviously can read. So why don't I just read it myself?
the preacher
instead of
is a
having you-
middleman.
Right. I don't
like
understand this
like there's a transition that's in the way that doesn't have to be there.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
You got you, then you got the preacher that's supposed to be telling God about stuff or
Right.
whatever. How come I can't go just straight to God?
Right,
So,
exactly.
If you're reading this passage out of the Bible, can't I read it?
Right.
You know, I mean,
Exactly.
now you might not be able to understand or decipher that message that's in the Bible. Hell, most of them can't decipher the goddamn
Right.
message. You know what I'm saying? They just reading shit. That's all they do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can pray. You know what I'm saying? If you pray at your house, does the preacher come over here and pray with you? You can pray, right? And if you pray, does God hear your prayers? God hears everything, right? God knows everything. So why do I have to come to this building? Let me tell you why you have to come to that building. Because that building is a business.
Right.
Okay? And every week, whatever money that you put into that collection plate, that is to keep your membership. They call you a church member, right? It's just like going to fucking LA Fitness or you know, wherever sporting club or fucking gym you go to. You are a church member. Well, if you are a member, you have to pay a membership fee, correct? Like,
which is their tithe.
exactly, which is your tithes. You're. Let me tell you something. If you don't pay your tithes, okay, which is your membership fee, if you don't pay your tithes, you'll get one of the deacons or one of the associate pastors to come over there and start talking to you.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, man. I've seen for the last month you really ain't gave too much money, brother. You know, is everything good? You know, this, that, and other. They really don't give a fuck about you. What they care about is that you ain't putting no money in the plate. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's why for most churches or whatever, and some of them don't, but that's why they give you these little envelopes so you can put your name on it and how much money you gave, because they want to keep a tab of who's giving what. You know what I'm saying? And then they need to know who they're gonna go and get a hold of, because you only gave $5 this week, bro. You only gave $2 last week. You know, sister so and so gave $100, and sister so and so gave $500, and brother so and so gave $800. You ain't giving but $5, man. Is everything good? They make it sound like they really care about you, when in actuality, all they fucking care about is that money. You know what I'm saying?
And you're basing this off the giant churches, like the
for the mega
Right,
churches.
right.
Little small churches that ain't got but like 20 members or whatever. Those are trying to do right. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a lot of people. They're not making a lot of money. They're not doing shit. They're just actually trying to spread the word and do positive things. But can you get more shit done with 20 members or 20,000?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So those mega churches to me are just a waste of time and bullshit. Creflo Dollar Church, for a fact, I know this for a fact, that when you go to be a member at World Changes, that's Creflo Dollar Church on Old National Highway right here in Atlanta. When you sign up to be a member, you have to fill out all this paperwork or whatever. They ask you for your W-2s. You know what your W-2s are?
Tax information.
That's your tax
Yeah.
information. They want to know how much fucking money you make so that you don't cheat God out of his money. Think about what I'm just saying now. If you want to be a member of this church, you have to give them, they're not the government, you have to give them your fucking tax information so they know how much money you make per year, so they know how much money they can get out of you. Now I want you to tell me, does that sound like some shit that they're doing good business in the neighborhood, or they have your best interest at heart? Does that sound like anything like that? And I know I'm getting on Creflo because Creflo is here in this city, but it's mega churches all over this country that do the same fucking thing. Same thing. There's people who go to mega churches for 20 years, lose their job, go to the church and say, hey, man, I fell on hard times and I've been here 20 years. I ain't missed one Sunday. I know I've given y'all about $100,000 over that time. I don't have enough money to pay my rent. Can y'all help me out? This church is making $300,000 a week. He needs $1,200. You know what that pastor tell him? Well,
Pray about it.
We'll pray for you, brother. We're gonna get the prayer warriors together, and we're gonna pray for you, man, and God is gonna send you a blessing. You the blessing, motherfucker.
Right.
I've been coming to this church for 20 goddamn years. My blessing is you. I've been putting this money in here, hoping that things will go good and this, that, and other. You told me everything would go right. I done lost my job and everything. God did give me a blessing. He put you in my life. You my pastor for 20 years. You gonna give me $1,200 to pay my rent so my family ain't out on the street? That motherfucker's not gonna give him a dime. Not one fucking dime. He gonna say, we'll pray for you, brother. Prayer ain't gonna keep your shit from being out on the street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Period.
Prayer don't stop payments.
It don't stop none of that shit. But that's how churches are. And like I said, the big mega churches, these people don't give a fuck. Last year, Houston had the hurricane come through there. There's a dude named Joel Osteen, a white guy, big. He got a church bigger than Creflo Dollar's church. Long story short, people were staying in like basketball arenas and just everywhere they could find a place because shit was flooding out or whatever and this, that, and the other. And they asked the pastor of the church, Joel Osteen, they asked him, they said, hey man, can people come to your church? You know, you got a big mega church, can hold thousands of people. You know, we got a situation going here, a hurricane, shit is flooding. He was like, oh, I would really love to do that, man. I would really love to help the people. You know, I'm all about the people and this, that, and the other, but the hurricane is so bad and the roads are closed and can't nobody get up to the church, right? Okay, I can understand that. I get you. Because, you know, there's debris and shit in the way and you can't even get up there until a motherfucker took his camera phone and drove straight up to that motherfucker's church. There was no debris or shit or nothing in the road. The pastor of that church just sat there and lied and said, no, I don't want to help the people.
Correct.
I don't want to help y'all. But I want y'all to come to my motherfucking church every Sunday, listen to me tell you about how good and wonderful God is and I am and all this bullshit. But when y'all need me in the community that you're in, my church is right here where y'all need me. I can hold thousands of people. He sat there and lied on TV and said they can't get up there. And a guy went up there with a phone and showed there is nothing stopping anybody from coming up here and being in this church. He just didn't want them up there. The same motherfuckers that go to his church and give him money every goddamn weekend. But when they push come to shove and you need help from your so-called pastor and the person who's supposed to look out for you, this motherfucker turns his back on you. Because they don't give a fuck, man. All they care about is making money. I learned that as I got older. I went to church. You know, my mom was big in the church. My grandfather was big into the church. My grandmother was a preacher. My dad was a preacher. So I know all about church. You know what I'm saying? I know church. And as I got older, things just didn't seem right. It seemed like there was more problems in the church than outside the church. Always motherfuckers gossiping, doing people wrong, and all kinds. I told you before. Do you go to a hospital when you're healthy or when you're sick?
Good.
When you're sick. So if you go to a church, are you holy and Christian-fied, or do you go there because you're not? You feel what I'm saying? So now that you're going to the church,
people think it's both.
They think it's both, but do you think it's both?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't go to a hospital when I'm healthy because there's no need. So if you go to a church, are you full of the Lord and the Spirit? Are you a good person? Or do you go to church because you know you need help?
I don't know. I think that's...
You feel what I'm saying, right?
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like it depends on the person. Because we both know she went to the church every day, and she's one of the most holy people I've ever seen in my life. She's never done anything wrong.
Right.
But there's also people, like you said, that will fucking go out and do heinous shit on Saturday and Sunday morning, wake up and go to church.
Stumble in the church on Sunday and, oh, Jesus, God,
right,
Lord,
I'll never
Jesus.
do that again. And so I think it just depends on the person. In your opinion, what do you think there's more of? The bad people that come to church?
Motherfuckers who are fucking up. There's no doubt about that. If the church was so full of these good, wonderful, wholesome fucking people, society wouldn't be the way it is right now. There are 365,000 churches in America. 365,000 churches in America. Not to mention how many people go to those churches. All right, you have churches that got 20 members. You have churches that got 20,000.
So okay, then this goes, but then this is a question of is it the church, like you just said, not because is it the church that's messing up, or are people just not taking the word in and caring? So is it people that's not giving a fuck about what the word is? Because if they're saying the right shit to people, that you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and be nice, and people just not giving a fuck. So it's more about the people not caring than the churches itself then.
And are the pastors and deacons and usher board members, are they part of the church? They people, right?
I mean,
are they a part of it?
Yeah.
How many times you can go online right now and you can read where the pastor is fucking this person and the pastor stole money from this person and the usher board person beat the hell out of this person and this, that, and the other. These are the same people who are in the church. See, the building itself isn't bad. It's the people that are in it.
Right.
That's what I said about the actions. So it ain't just the congregation, the motherfuckers who sit out in the pews and listen to this motherfucker. It ain't just them. It's those people who are preaching down to us. They're not right. You know what I'm saying? Case in point.
So you can't tell someone to be right if you're not right, is what you're saying.
In my opinion, you have to.
No, that makes sense.
You have to walk the walk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to walk the walk. I'm giving you a perfect example. Your mom back home, you know, she's from a small place in Mississippi, and She was out and about. This is her early 20s or whatever. She's out and about at a club with some of her cousins and stuff. They having a good time and this, that, and the other. And she look over there in the corner, and there's a person over there drinking with some buddies. Well, the guy who was over there drinking with the buddies walked over there and started hitting on her. You know, trying to rap to her, trying to get with her, whatever.
Don't.
The person who did that was the preacher of the church. Sunday came. This was Saturday night. Sunday came, and then they went to church. There he was standing up there in the fucking pulpit preaching about this, that, and the other, and all these kinds of things. Married man.
Oh, okay, I'm about
preacher.
to say, okay.
A married
He's
man,
married, okay.
a preacher, was trying to hit
Okay.
on your mom, and then he just sits there like everything's good and everything's great. He's up here getting sloppy ass drunk.
Right.
Already has a wife, but he out here trying to do whatever.
Right.
If you're supposed to be the leader of a church or some people, you have to walk the walk. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that. I've even heard preaching. You probably heard this too. Where they say, "Don't do as I do, do as I say do." That's what a preacher will tell you.
Never.
Don't do as I do as I say do. What they're saying is, I'm human. I'm a man. I'm gonna fuck up. But you just do what I tell you to do. You don't even follow your own fucking words. So how are you going to tell me to live a certain way and do certain things when your ass ain't even doing what you say I should be doing? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta. It's for you too. That road is for you too. It ain't just for me.
Right.
So when you're standing there preaching down to me, bro,
It's like
you hear the same words.
It's like they think since they are so-called the messenger of God that they can just do what they want and they'll all be forgiven because they're the pastors or some shit.
I guess they.
I mean,
feel like
honestly, that's what it is. Like,
they got a better connection with God because
so they think they
whatever.
can mess up and it be okay.
Right. You don't have to go to a building in order to seek out God. You don't have to go to a building in order to get blessed or to pray to God. You don't have to go to that building.
Did Jesus have a church in the Bible?
No.
Okay. So that should be the end of church right there, right?
Jesus, in the Bible, Jesus had 12 disciples and they
Right.
went different places teaching and
Right.
preaching the word. He didn't have a building where motherfuckers came to him. He actually went out to the people. You feel what I'm saying? You're supposed to get the word and then go out and spread the word. See, there should never be a church that has 20,000 fucking members. What you should have is a church that has 200 members. When those 200 members learn about the Bible and learn about Christ, those 200 people basically graduate. They go out amongst the people in the community to spread the word. Then you bring in another 200 people. It's just like going to college or going to high school. You're supposed to be there for so long, learn the word of God, and then you push them out the door so that they can go out and spread the word, because that's what Jesus did. Jesus walked everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He had no Range Rover and shit. He walked everywhere and he went to preach the word to everybody to wherever they were at. Right? That's what he did. So you telling me you better than Jesus? That's the person you're supposed to be following, right? Jesus didn't have no church. So why are you so hell-bent on getting a bigger church and getting more members? It's all to make fucking money, bro. That's all it's about. Church is all about money. It's a business. It ain't about spreading the word and doing good shit. Years ago, there was like the little wristband you got. They had these little wristbands.
Yeah, I know.
They said, "What would Jesus do?" Right? What would Jesus do? You had them motherfuckers. Everybody and their mama had 1, 2, 3 of them fucking wristbands on or whatever. They never even stopped to answer the question on the wristband. The question was, "What would Jesus do?" Not the shit you doing.
Nah, pretty much, because you'll see people fighting with what would Jesus do bracelets on. Like, they'll literally be fighting someone with the what would Jesus do bracelet. As they
Choking the
watch it.
motherfucker out.
Right, looking at the bracelet while they strangling this
So you on
nigga.
YouTube watching the motherfucker get real naked choke, and you just see the "What would Jesus do" bracelet right there, like all in the camera and shit. Would Jesus choke a motherfucker out? You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's stupid. That don't even make sense.
That's tough.
Because all you're doing is you're putting on this bracelet. You're not even answering the questions on the bracelet and really thinking about it. But in the Bible, right, which a lot of people go by, in the Bible, there was a dude that went up on the mountain. This dude named Moses. You've heard this story before, right?
Yes, I know.
So Moses went up on the mountain. And who did Moses see on the mountain?
God.
He saw God. Did he not? He saw God up there,
Saw
right?
God.
So God is talking to Moses. He said, "Moses, hey man, check this out, Moses. Shit going wrong. You know, all these kind of things or whatever. These people acting the fool. I'm going to give you these rules, these laws, amendments, whatever you want to call them. And take down to my people. Tell my people to follow these rules, these laws, okay? And then if they do this, everything will be good." Now, before I get into those rules and laws, who went up on the mountain?
Moses.
Who did Moses talk to?
The big man himself.
He talked to the highest of the food chain, did he not?
The
He
big-
didn't talk to an
Big
angel.
kahuna himself.
Exactly. He ain't talked to no angels. He ain't talked to somebody's stepdaddy. He talked to the entity, right? The one. So the one told him to take these tablets down with these 5 rules on each one and tell the people to do this. In those 10 rules, did you ever in those 10 rules see where it said go to church in those 10 rules? I didn't see that. I didn't see in the 10 rules or laws or the commandments, whatever you want to call them. I didn't see where it said pay tithes.
Right.
I didn't see where it said follow Jesus Christ. Now remember, Jesus wasn't born at this time, but God understands the past, present, and future, does he not? And if he thought that Jesus was coming down and was going to be the most important thing that mankind has ever seen, he would have told them ahead of time, y'all, look, I'm gonna bring my son down here because y'all just fucking up. And he gonna show y'all the way on how to live and how to be righteous. I didn't see that in the 10 Commandments. You know what else I didn't see in the 10 Commandments? Make sure you follow and read the Bible. I ain't see none of this shit. Now understand, the shit that we supposed to be doing, supposed to be following Christ, reading the book, all this kind of shit or whatever. But the creator of the universe, gave us 10 rules to go by, the commandments. And in none of them
So
rules,
basically what you're saying is there should literally be nothing else that ever fucking matters except those 10 rules. Since God himself or herself basically said,
the
this
creator,
is what we're gonna
the
do.
one that put everything in motion, said follow this.
Right.
So therefore, why do I have to go to church? God didn't tell me to go to church.
Right.
Why do I have to pay tithes? God didn't tell me to pay tithes. Why do I have to read the Bible? God didn't tell me to read the Bible. God didn't tell me to follow Jesus. God didn't tell me any of that shit. God told me, Moses, these 2 tablets. Don't kill, don't steal, love thy neighbor, don't lie, right? That's what the 10 Commandments are, right? So what good is the church or the book if the creator of everything said, just do this? How can you get in trouble? People say if you don't go to church, you're going to hell. You got to go to church to get all prayed up and do all that. I didn't see that in the 10 Commandments. And who wrote the 10 Commandments now? The creator of everything, right? Not some dude who said God told him to write it. The 10 Commandments are supposed to be the actual written word of the creator himself or itself or herself. The creator said, follow these rules. How can I get in trouble then? How can you as a pastor tell me, man, if you don't go to church, you're going to hell? That ain't what God said. Man, you need to read this book or you're going to be in trouble.
It's a very solid point.
That's not what God said. Because we all supposed to be trying to get to God, right? And if God came down in the form of a burning bush or a walking marshmallow, I don't care what God came down in the form of, but God said, do this. So how can I be wrong? If I just follow that, what good is the book? What good is these buildings? What good is this bullshit? Because the creator of you, me, and everything that's walking and living and breathing said, just do this right here. So how can I be in the wrong? You feel me?
That makes sense.
How can I be in the wrong?
That's
And I've asked people this before, and you know what answer they give me? Nothing. They don't have no fucking answer for that. Because it makes too much goddamn sense. Because they look at me like, damn, that is true. God didn't say do none of that. Now, Jesus is supposed to be all powerful, right? Jesus is that dude, right? Jesus walked on water and raised the dead and all that kind of stuff. Guess who's over Jesus, though?
Right.
God. And if God said do this, I'm not really concerned with nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly. But my point being,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
that if the creator of everything that we know of,
If he told you to do a certain thing and then your pastor is telling you got to do all this other shit to be holy, you shouldn't have to do all that
man,
because
yeah,
God.
we saying pastor, but it's man. Man telling you
Right.
got to go to church. Man tells you
Yeah.
you got to pay tithes. Man tells you that you have to do this, but God ain't told you none of that, right? God ain't told you none of that. None of that. And those same pastors that stand up there with them $5,000 suits and do all that sweating and hollering and kicking over plants and shit, all that shit that they do, you know what I'm saying? And they supposed to be trying to get to where God is, and God didn't tell them to do none of that.
That shit is annoying.
It's
Shit. Oh man,
You gotta
I don't
love that.
understand that. Shit. I don't understand that.
That's just
shit,
to get
bro.
people,
Of course.
get people excited and crunk. You know, then they
That's
play
it.
the music.
I
and
mean,
stuff.
I ain't gonna lie, the songs do
Well,
are
some of
nice.
that music
Some of the
bumping,
songs,
boy.
though,
Some of that
are-
music, boy, you
I
just be
actually
like,
like some of the
okay.
songs, but
Yeah, they got nice
I don't
beat.
like that whole like you be seeing
Hollering and
people
shit.
like jump up and like jump, all the old
Right.
women and
They
shit
catch
jumping
the
around,
Holy
catch
Ghost.
the Holy Ghost,
Yeah.
like Martin Mama and them. Like Martin Mama did that episode. That's just hilarious. The bad things are the people that like swear they in a wheelchair and then they come up and then they be like they touch their forehead and they jump out the fucking wheelchair like I just got fucking blessed to walk or some shit. That
Oh
shit is
my
crazy.
gosh, that shit is so stupid. You seen that shit on TV, right?
Yeah, I've seen it before. That's why.
Oh, you gonna be healed. Oh, I've been on these crutches for
Right.
13 years.
And then this nigga doing fucking you got surgery.
Exactly.
And shit. This nigga spinning his
My
ass.
knees locked up. I ain't got no vertebrae in my back, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And all he do is just do this.
Right.
And that nigga, he's flipping and shit. That motherfucker just doing it all. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. To me, church is cool if you say, I want to go to church on Sundays to fellowship, like to meet the people in your community and friends that you don't see on a
Right.
regular basis. But to say I'm going to church to learn something or to understand this, that, and the other, that same book that they're telling you to read, you can read that at home on your own. You don't need that. You can pray on your own and get to the Creator yourself. You don't need no middleman to do that shit. You feel what I'm saying? And you damn sure don't have to get a church your money. If all the churches closed right now, every church closed right now, no more people go to church, how's that really going to affect anything? Think about how would that affect society. Society's still fucked up. With all these 365,000 churches that we have in the country, would you consider the country to be in a good place or a bad place?
It's not too good right now.
Okay, but we got 365 goddamn thousand churches
That's a good point, yeah.
in the community, right? 365,000. But yet you look on the news every day. Racism this, cop shoot motherfucker that, mama done drowned baby here. This motherfucker set buildings on fire.
Right.
If
So
we have,
basically, we're asking what good does the church even do?
what good does the church do
Right.
in the grand scheme of things? Do you think it does any good? Like I said, if you use it for what it's supposed to be used for in fellowship, and y'all get together every Sunday and say, oh man, I ain't seen you, how's the family? Well, I ain't seen you, sister so-and-so, how's everything going? How's that new job or whatever? And you go there for that reason and you get a message or whatever, but don't think that just because you go into those four walls, you're going to be healed and all of a sudden you're going to be on your path to going to heaven. That's not what church is for. Your pathway to heaven depends on you, your actions. Remember I told you earlier about the actions of the church. What actions are they doing? You had a guy who city had a fucking hurricane. He lied to the people on TV and said, y'all can't come to my church because you can't get here. Those are terrible actions, right? But that same
And
guy.
that
is counting on those
also goes back to like back in the old days when they didn't even have churches. So all those people just went straight to hell because they
Yeah,
didn't
what
go
did
to
they do?
church, right? Like I'm sure there was good people back then, like back when the Mayans and shit were alive,
Right.
they didn't have churches,
people. So what did they do?
so they just went straight to hell, I guess.
So God just such a terrible person.
Right.
Then he's like, hey man, y'all didn't go to church like I said, so y'all just gonna bust hell wide open.
Right.
Even though there were no churches, you know what I'm saying? Or this, that,
Like
and
they
the
had
other.
their own like fellowship groups and shit, but it
Right.
wasn't church. Like,
Right.
So
Not like we do today. And I think that how you feel, how you treat people, just loving your neighbor, man, trying to do right and doing positive things and doing what you can to make society better. Church is really just a waste of time. If you want to go, fine, but don't think that I go and it's a gateway to helping me do whatever. It's not. Your actions and what you do is the gateway on getting you where you need to go. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you go to church every Sunday, but you act the fool Monday through goddamn Saturday,
that
it don't matter if you go to church.
cancel out. Like that shit, people need to stop.
Exactly.
That shit does not cancel out.
That's
bro.
my point.
I
So
think the question should be just for people. They need to really ask themselves what good does the church even do for? Because like you just said, the world is already messed up. And
Exactly.
we have all these churches. So what good does it even do?
what does it do?